The Old Pre-Meds Podcast, session number 217. You're a non-traditional student entering the medical field on your terms. You may have had some hiccups along the way, but now you're ready to change course and go back and serve others as a physician. This podcast is here to help answer your questions and help educate you on your non-traditional journey to becoming a physician. Welcome to the Old Pre-Meds Podcast. My name is Dr. Ryan Gray, and thank you so much for being here today. Today, we have a very good question, a common question about issues that students have with some academic and other kind of trouble getting into. So our question today is a very common one and probably going to become more and more common as this drug becomes more and more legal in various states. Our student was suspended for marijuana and is wondering if he or she can still make it into medical school. Their question: I am currently awaiting my UC and CSU transfer acceptances for biochem, and I graduated high school in 2012. I went to the University of Miami freshman year and did terribly, averaging a 1.0-ish GPA for the year. My dad died senior year of high school, and he was a physician. I then went on to college, still grieving and immature, and I completely hung out with friends all day to distract me, and I was smoking and missing classes. The RA found some marijuana in my dorm room, and I was then kicked out of the dorms and suspended for the summer session, so I know that is on my records. I then came back to California and went to Santa Monica College for 2 years, and I also did not do very well. I did okay in some courses, but also did very bad in others. I then took time off school and worked in sales full-time for about 2 years. I then went to Harbor College, where I have a 3.6 GPA at Harbor College, including Calc, Gen Chem, Biology, and finishing OChem now, though I have not taken a lot of courses together at once, so I know that will not be impressive. After I transfer, I plan to join research on campus. I've applied to Scribes of America, and I also know physicians personally that I can shadow. I would like to honestly ask if medical school is still a reasonable goal. I told myself about a year ago, quote, maybe I'll just teach, but as the time passes, I realize I cannot see myself doing any other job. I'm mostly worried about the marijuana history as well as the W's, F's, and D's that plagued me from years ago. I also have a couple W's at Harbor College. My plan is obviously that after I transfer, I need to get absolutely only a 4.0 GPA at the university that accepts me, as well as get my foot into research on campus and build a relationship with professors so that I can have good letters of rec. Any advice is helpful, and feel free to grill me and be honest. All right, so great question. So that's really two questions in one, right? The GPA issue and the marijuana on the record. So it definitely helps that the student was caught at school with marijuana and only suspended from the summer session, and there was no legal issues with it. To me, that is the saving grace, right? If there's no legal record having any big issues, convictions, arrests, anything for marijuana, that is going to potentially be a bigger hurdle when it comes to getting your medical license. And that's really where some of the drug issues come into play when we're talking about acceptances to medical school, is they are thinking ahead going, will this person be able to be licensed? Because you have to go through the whole licensing process, and they'll dig through your records and they're like, well, does this person have a drug issue? Do they not? And so marijuana, I think, is one of the easy ones to say, you know what, it's probably not a big deal. Marijuana is probably going to be very similar to alcohol in the future, where it's like a lot of people apply to medical school with some sort of similar infraction on their institutional record of underage drinking, right? We're going to have the same thing with marijuana for states where it's still not legal yet, but at other states where it is legal, probably nothing will happen, right? So not going to be an issue in the grand scheme of things, getting a medical license, any of that. So that's not an issue. Your biggest issue, this student's biggest issue, is the GPA and overcoming that. So the student may, depending on using, I would recommend using my calculator, what'smygpa.com, and really see what those trends look like. And if you need to potentially do a master's or a post-bacc or an SMP, something like that, to improve the GPA, that's probably where you're going to have to go. Can you still get into medical school? Absolutely. This is not something that's going to keep you out of becoming a physician. It's not going to keep you from becoming a physician. The marijuana not going to keep you from becoming a physician. You'll have to report it on your application as an institutional action. Not going to be an issue. Just own up to the issues and really own it. Talk about what you learned from it and move on. The other thing to think about is really what to do moving forward, right, with the GPA and what those trends look like and when will you be ready to apply. I actually just got off the phone with a student who I'm helping this application cycle with her application. Very potentially similar issues of like 0.9 GPA freshman year of college because she was in an abusive relationship, but has like 3.9, 3.7, 4.0 sophomore, junior, senior years. Her overall GPA isn't great at like a 3.2, but her trend is obviously phenomenal. She'll have to explain that freshman year, but I don't think she needs to do anything to repair her GPA. She's done amazing in those final 3 years. Yeah, her freshman year is terrible, but oh well, right? There's a reason for that. So I would highly recommend listening to episode 35 of the pre-med years, or at that point, that was a long time ago, it was called the Medical School HQ podcast. I would go check out that episode. premedyears.com/35 will definitely help you with that. Outside of that, this is just something you'll keep plugging away, you keep chugging along, and you'll get to where you need to go. So good luck. I hope this was helpful for you, mostly just to give you some encouragement and some motivation that you're still in this. You're still in the running. There's really not much you can do that will completely remove you from your ability to get into medical school. It sounds like you still have a lot of time left to work on your GPA, to get those extracurriculars and everything else. So good luck. And if you have a question you want answered here on the podcast, go to premedforums.com, register for an account if you don't already have one on our brand new form system. Go check it out, join the conversation, and have a great day.
This is MedEd Media.